Today on the TMZ Podcast.
Welcome to the TMZ Podcast. I'm Eric Colley, in for Charlie Cotton, joined by Deven this morning. How are you?
I'm doing great. You got a promotion, huh?
I did. Got to host. Yeah,
wow, this
weird.
is huge. I'm honored.
I'm sitting on the wrong side, I feel like. We have a lot of stuff to get into today. Jonathan Majors finally speaking out after his conviction.
Crazy.
We got a video that we need a trigger warning on this one. This one's a rough one.
Super rough.
Actually ends in a death. We'll get into that one. And also Tom Sandoval reveling in somebody else's misery for once.
It's kind of nice for him,
Yeah,
right?
it's sort
like
of a
he
win.
finally gets a dub.
Right, it's karma for him. But first, we got to talk about the it girl of 2024 so far, Gypsy Rose Blanchard. Man, what a life she is having now.
I mean, it is crazy because, you know, obviously she went to prison a long time ago. And then, you know, all the documentaries came out and she became a household name, basically. And everyone was waiting for when she came out. And now that she has, I mean, I haven't seen the internet this obsessed with someone who went to jail in a while.
Right. Yeah, and she became like a superstar while she was in prison. And now she's out and she is living the life. It's interesting. So she got married while she was in jail.
To Ryan.
This guy, Ryan. But the guy that she was dating before that, her ex, is the guy who actually killed her mom, Dee Dee. He is in jail for life. And now we found out that she is not allowed to have any contact with him whatsoever. She can't call him. She can't text him. She can't even have somebody else do it for her. No third-party contact. Which this is great for Ryan, right?
Yeah, I mean, great for Ryan. Obviously, she's definitely not going to be getting back with her ex anytime soon.
Right.
She can't.
I legally can't even talk to my ex.
So these are like a bunch of her like parole things. But the other thing about this story that I was just like thinking about, it's like she's moved on. She's out. This guy, I mean, did a lot of really bad things to her once they dug into it in the documentary.
Right.
Like he was a pretty bad person. I mean, he killed somebody.
Well, yeah.
So I don't think she wants to talk to Nick.
Why in the world would she want to talk to this guy? I mean, yeah, he did, kill her mom for her.
True.
But you're right, he was abusive to her, and it's such a part of her life. Why would she want to go back to that at all?
Exactly. And it's like she's out free. This guy's in there for life. I don't think she has anything left to say to him. She's not going to be shooting him a text, calling him. So like when the parole officer came, like, hey, these are all the things you have to go by. She's like, yeah, I had no plans on contacting.
I actually was going to request that be put in the condition of my parole.
Exactly, because usually parole conditions are like, people are probably mad, like, oh, I can't leave the state. I have to check in with my parole officer.
Which that did affect her. Remember, she was trying to go to the Chiefs game.
Exactly.
She wanted to meet Taylor Swift, and she wasn't allowed to leave the state.
Well, yeah, it was very weird because apparently, so I actually had to work over the holidays, unfortunately.
Sorry.
So I had to work on this story, but, obviously it was a huge lead up that her big thing was that Ryan, her husband, bought her the tickets to the Taylor Swift concert, which was the Chiefs game, which Taylor was going to be attending in Kansas City, which was pretty close to where she got released. So she gets out, has all her gear, which Ryan bought her for Christmas, the tickets, which they had already bought, it can't be cheap. And then the parole officer's like, hey, law enforcement in Missouri is basically saying you have to now go to Louisiana and report to your parole officer there because that's where she's going to be living with Ryan. So I guess you win some, you lose some.
Well, this is all win for Ryan. Think about it. He's like, because she's come out and she said also, for the haters that are attacking Ryan, she's like, we have the best sex every single day. So he's having sex every single day.
Nice.
He can't buy her nice gifts like tickets to a game because, baby, I wanted to, but your parole.
Your parole, I have to sell them now.
Yeah, sorry. And she legally can't speak to her ex.
He's living a pretty good life.
Maybe he's the winner in all this.
Ryan, and people were thinking like, people who reach out to people in prison and, fall in love with them is a little weird, but maybe Ryan has something figured out.
And he has no in-laws.
Well, that's true. Well, that's
her dad.
Yeah, her dad's still in the picture, but yeah.
Yeah, so I wonder how, this Nick guy is probably seeing all this.
So I don't know because I know a lot of people have been trying to get in touch with him just to get his reaction to all this. I don't know. It's been almost impossible. Like his lawyers aren't speaking out at all. It's hard. I think you have to like write a letter to him in jail because in his particular jail, there's no email, where in like Gypsy's, you could like straight up just shoot her an email and she could respond if she wanted to.
He's got life, so
I'm sure it's a little stricter, but yeah, Nick, I guess.
Yeah, maybe she would want to contact him, though. Maybe that's why this is coming up, because she's doing all these documentaries and now talking about her life and stuff. I wonder if she wanted to reach out to him just as a part of her life, or like to have, because obviously anything she does, people are going to want to watch. But if he's involved in any sort of way, you would definitely want to see that.
Oh, that would be huge.
Yeah, if Gypsy got, like, if she spoke to him about what they went through and what happened and about him killing her mother.
That's actually a really good point. The people that are producing these docuseries are probably really upset about these parole conditions because that was probably their big thing.
Oh, yeah.
Get him on the phone or talk to him and get some type of closure, get whatever that you want to get off your chest. And yeah, that would have obviously been great TV.
Yeah. Speaking of people getting things off their chest, Jonathan Majors is going to be sitting down with ABC on Monday. We'll be covering all this next week. First time he's spoken since he was found guilty of assault and harassment charges and basically ended his career. And what's interesting to me about this, we don't know what he's going to say just yet, but the final nail in the coffin of his career was Disney dropping him from the Marvel movies. He was going to be Kang, the big villain, in all their next couple movies. He's doing the interview with ABC, which is owned by Disney.
That is interesting because clearly this had to be a conversation at the top of like, but I think because it's like journalism and obviously everyone wanted the Jonathan Majors first interview. It's like, how could they pass that up?
I know why ABC would want it. I'm surprised he would do it.
Oh,
like,
yeah, that's true.
It wouldn't be like you said.
I was thinking like Disney would be like, hey, we dropped him, you guys
Oh, no,
can't.
business is business.
Oh, yeah.
No, for him, like you said, he could have his pick of anything.
That's true. Maybe he has some type of rapport with, I can't remember who the one is from ABC, the journalist who's doing the interview, but maybe he has some type of relationship with her and trusts her because I was talking to Charles about this morning. It's just, he hasn't been sentenced yet, and I would imagine he's going to appeal. It's very weird that you would do this interview before that has came down, like before you've been sentenced, because anything I would imagine that you say in this interview can be used against you.
Absolutely. I'm sure you think like his attorneys are like, don't do this. Not just yet. It's like, Alec Baldwin in the Rust case.
Just thinking that.
All his attorneys were like, stop doing interviews. And he just wouldn't.
I think these people, these big time celebrities have just such a big ego that they really they don't listen to people. And for this particular instance, obviously we weren't there. We don't know exactly what happened.
Right.
But if he actually thinks that he's innocent, it's like, why wouldn't you do an interview? I have nothing to hide.
True. And in this case, there were no cameras allowed in the courtroom for this. So we haven't heard exactly what he said yet. So yeah,
True.
He probably wants to get out. And I don't think his career will ever recover exactly to where it was.
True.
Like he was the hottest thing. But look, like Mel Gibson recovered, Chris Brown recovered, and in his mind, he's like, I didn't do any of those things.
No, exactly. And it's like we've worked here for long enough to where, yes, people do get canceled for some time. There's only a few things that I think you can't murder someone. Rape.
Gypsy Rose.
Yeah, Gypsy Rose. I guess
I guess she didn't do the murder herself.
That didn't make any. I guess you can do anything, but I just come from the school of thought that you can come back from anything. All it takes is a little bit of time. Obviously, he's not going to be getting any massive roles right away. But 10 years from now, are people even going to really remember this?
He could get an Oscar nomination at some point. I mean, Roman Polanski won Best Director and had sex with a 13-year-old. So
that is...
Yeah, maybe he can come back. But if he changes his mind about Disney, he can always come on the TMZ podcast.
Oh, we would love to.
We'll do that first interview.
We would love to.
We'll have you on, Jonathan. Don't worry. We got a seat for you.
God, and that snapshot of the photo of the interview, his outfits are just ridiculous.
They are the best.
It's like he's walking around in New York, and I'm like, is this guy in a movie? He looks like he's in a role.
He's camera ready at all times.
All times.
He is smooth. Gonna go this story.
I don't like this story at all.
This one's a little rough. And trigger warning, we're not going to show the video. You can see it on the site if you want to. Just the story itself. In Philadelphia, two guys got in a fight on a subway platform. There's video of this because people were filming just like, oh, it's just a fight. And when the video starts, there's a larger guy and a guy a little bit smaller than him. And the bigger guy, it looks like, has the smaller guy kind of pinned up against the column, or he's pushing him up.
Yeah.
And lifts his hand like he's about to hit him, but doesn't. And then the smaller guy just sucker punches him, and the guy falls off the platform. And this is one of those Final Destination kind of things. Right when he hits the tracks, the subway comes.
You see the subway coming.
And just runs right over the guy. You don't see the subway hit him because obviously the person's filming from the platform, but this is intense.
This is super intense. I had a couple thoughts when I thought of this. One, whatever they were fighting over clearly was not worth it.
Not worth it. And that's the weird thing to me when you see video like this, when you're watching the guy. it's like in 2 minutes, you're going to be dead.
Yeah.
Whatever this is absolutely not worth it.
Totally. And it's still unclear what they were even fighting for. You hear them yelling at each other, but I couldn't really make out what they were really saying. Obviously, now cops are investigating this other guy that lived for murder. And I don't know how much investigating you need to do. It's all on video.
Right.
But, I mean, so I grew up in Southern California. We didn't have like subways. Our public transportation here is horrible. But
and earthquakes. You don't want to really be underground a whole lot.
I never even thought about that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. But when I went to New York, I remember thinking, first of all, subway system's so damn confusing. I spent a week there and I still didn't figure it out.
The first time I could figure out the subway by myself in New York, I was so proud of myself. I was like, I got from here, I got to this line and that line.
You walk in, you see the map, I see all these colors. I have no idea where I'm going.
Yeah.
Anyways, I did also remember my other takeaway is like, dude, this is dangerous because that drop off,
very dangerous,
off the like platform. First of all, is like 5 or 6 feet down, and those subway cars go whizzing by. And I remember thinking at the time, it's like it's weird that you don't hear more often about either people falling and getting hurt or being hit.
Right.
So yeah, I guess that's just my take. Is subway systems risky?
That's your take.
Risky, very confusing.
You sound so California right now.
Super risky.
Right.
But yeah, honestly, it is a really crazy video. And obviously, I feel terrible for that man's family. But I think the other takeaway is just that like fighting in public, guys, like it's just never worth it.
It's never, because any kind of weird freak thing could happen. They could have been on a sidewalk and the guy could have fallen and a car could have come by and hit him, or a bus.
Exactly.
See, you're not safe on your bus even.
That's true.
And I wonder, when police find the guy that hit him and knocked him off, and they will, I mean, manslaughter, I'm guessing, because he clearly he wasn't intending to kill the man.
Yeah.
Even if you were, you couldn't have timed that out that perfectly.
Exactly.
It was just a freak accident. And he could try and say it was self-defense, I think, because we don't see the beginning of this fight.
True.
But when the video starts, the larger guy who fell off the platform, who died, did have the other guy pushed up against the column and did start to threaten to hit him. He did raise his hand, but didn't make contact. So then the other guy just kind of punched him to like get free, and he just happened to stumble and fall backwards.
And you hear like people screaming in the video. So there are clearly a lot of witnesses here that I'm sure probably saw the whole thing. I would imagine they're going to be interviewed by cops. And at the end of the day, they're going to figure out what happened.
And to that, real quick, one of the most chilling things about this to me, beyond his death, is there's an adult woman. You can tell by her voice. It's a grown woman is filming it. And then she looks around the front and she can kind of, I guess, see his body.
Yeah.
You don't really see it in the video so much. But she just starts screaming, "I want my mommy." Yeah. Like an adult, like that's it. Just to watch her freak out in that moment. I
can't even imagine what she saw.
It's again, if you are morbidly curious and want to see this, it is on our website. But,
and you're a sick person.
Yeah, but major trigger warnings because it's upsetting for sure. All right, moving on to our final story. Tom Sandoval, very happy about the death of Sweet Lady Jane. It's a bakery. It's been in LA for years.
Do you know about this bakery? Because I know we talk about it in the room all the time.
We've had it at work before. You never got
have we?
Yeah. Harvey loves
Sweet
Lady
he's
Jane.
He's obsessed with it. And I actually was out when I saw this email get sent to the desk, and I could imagine a huge gasp coming from up there when he found out.
He probably freaked out. He loves Sweet Lady Jane. He's brought it in a couple times.
Okay.
They are closing, and Tom Sandoval is so happy about that because at the peak of the Scandoval last year, they sold a cake that said Sandoval's a liar. And
I mean, but to be fair to Sweet Lady Jane, everyone got in on it.
Right. It was just sort of jokey for them. It was not jokey for him. He even kind of says that it sort of contributed to him thinking about killing himself.
Which is, I mean,
that's intense from a cake.
Super intense. It's like, Tom, I will give him a dub here, like we said earlier. Like, it is nice to see him finally get to dance on someone else's grave for once.
Right.
But it's like, dude, it was a cake, man.
It was a
lot of people said a lot worse things about you and to you and people you're close with, and you were that triggered by a cake.
And it just said Sandoval's a liar. He did lie.
It didn't even say a cheater.
No, it didn't even say cheater. It just said he lied. He did. But Billy Lee, one of his co-stars from Vanderpump Rules, saw Sweet Lady Jane's Instagram post that they were closing, tagged Tom and just said "karma?" ? And then he came in, and not only did he say he was so happy they were gone, but also kind of took a shot and said that they were the most super dry cakes he'd ever had.
I kind of loved that.
Which is a complaint I've heard about Sweet Lady Jane.
Yeah.
A little dry.
Yeah. I know they have like a berry cake was their famous one.
Yeah, that's one Harvey likes.
But yeah, I mean... R.I.P. Sweet Lady Jane. I
R.I.P.
guess.
Sweet Lady
And that's all I
Jane.
can really say. We talked about a lot of death and destruction. And,
Yeah.
A bakery was one that was probably the lightest.
Yeah, probably the lightest. But this is funny for Tom because, we did the story yesterday about him getting some flack for
Posing with the tiger.
posing with a tiger in Thailand.
yeah.
And we were like, oh, finally he can talk about something that's not, the whole Sandoval thing. Literally a day later, he's right back into it.
Yeah, I mean, and by his own accord.
Yeah,
he
he
didn't
did
have
it.
to say anything. To be honest, I didn't even remember they did the cake.
No, who would remember that?
I mean, clearly him. And so I don't know when they're going out of business, but I'm actually going to see if we can get some sent over here.
Oh, I'm sure Harvey will get
Yeah.
one for the road.
Yeah, and I want one that says Sandoval's alive.
Oh, that's all they should sell. That should be their
Exactly.
coming half off. Sandoval.
They're trying to get rid of all the frosting.
Right.
They might as well use this.
Might as well use it up. All right, that's going to do it for us. Thank you guys for listening, and we'll see you on Monday.
Yeah, it was awesome. See you later.